Why is this car so bad? First of all, okay, let's start with that. The rear lights aren't accurate at all. They need to be red, not white, because I'm not happy with it. The rear of the car, it's too empty. Plus the bodywork isn't completely smooth. That's at the wrong angle. You can see the bodywork isn't completely smooth. Colour, flux capacitor's too big. We've got the wrong time circuits in here. It's the time circuit keypad's too small. There isn't a screen there in the DeLorean. God, the issues go on and on and on. And that flight issue I said on the last video. Wait, what do we have here? By the looks of things, I have been working on a new one. So as you can tell, I have started completely from scratch. New model, new everything. This new version has all the same features as this one does. It's just less bad, let's say. So let's start. I'm not going to go through the entire crafting recipe on this to do it when you get in the world. But let's see. So first I'm going to start with the chassis of the DeLorean, which looks like this. Which looks brilliant. So there you can see all the wheel parts with the suspension, the brake pads, even the engine. And we've even got the chassis right here. This is... I've changed the startup sound as well. This does drive around like all the others do. Now, if you're thinking, how does this is the first thing that you craft. This is all where the crafting table will take you up to. Now, the next thing you need to craft is the DeLorean interior. So, this is another section where limits you in the crafting table. You might be scratching your head. What do I do with this? Well, perhaps I've decided all you have to do is click it on the car. And when you're in survival mode, it will take the item away from you. So now, you have a working steering wheel, and the interior of the car is there as well. As you can see, I've finally got carpet on the bottom, something this was severely lacking. Just look, it's literally got barely any texture at all in it. That's not acceptable. Now you can tell, this looks a whole lot better. And finally, the DeLorean Time Machine wasn't made as a DeLorean Time Machine. First, they had to actually make from a DeLorean. So why didn't I make it that way? So this is what this is going to craft up. This is going to craft the DeLorean DMC-12. So now, the next bit, you've got to craft the plastic bodywork of the car. You can see what the crafting recipes are in the crafting table by just typing DeLorean. There's a lot in there. Here's the content of both of the add-ons. So yeah, it takes quite a lot. And don't forget, I've got some down here as well. Just a little bit. You can see some of the new texturing in that. So now, then we click this to pop on the plastic bodywork, which now actually has accurate rear lights. I am really happy with these as they glow when they glow in the dark. And now the headlights. Look at that. They're actually good textures. And I've included the indicators at the bottom, which DeLorean headlights, they were halogen bulbs. They were never supposed to be whitish blue. These This is using LEDs. This is using the accurate halogen bulbs. See, it's got a yellowish tinge on it. Plus, the two middle ones don't light up at all. So if you guessed, look, you can even see different parts of the inside of the car. And as you guessed, yes, the next part is the steel panels, which brings you to this. I think it looks good. So now that's covering up most of the vehicle, making it look like a DeLorean time machine. And finally, to finish this off, it needs a couple of doors, don't you think? So now I have the gull-wing doors. I have to craft them together to make a set. And then I can use this set to pop the car. And if you're wondering, yes, the doors are closed this time. You have to crouch and interact to open them. Plus, it does turn all the lights off, which is a new feature, actually. So that's what that looks like. Does that with all the vehicles. And that is how you get the DeLorean Time Machine. That's drivable and such. And so you're probably wondering, this pack's called Back to the Future. So it's going to need a Back to the Future spin on it, isn't it? That is where this comes in. It's the Back to the Future DeLorean Time Machine conversion kit. And I've got one for Back to the Future 2 and one for Back to the Future 3. So those are the items used. So now, let's go to one of these. So, you can tell that the LED bulbs, they do light up. I'm going to go with this one. And now, you can see how emissive the textures are. Just look at them lights. They look lovely. And the rear lights, you can see the effect now. They look really nice. On the DeLorean, I can use the Time Machine conversion kit, and it will give me the Back to the Future Time Machine. As you can tell, this car has a lot more detail on it. Like, why don't we just do a comparison? Let's spawn in the DeLorean Time Machine. From first glance, I'm going to open the doors. You can see that I have finally made it so the flux bands are actually made with a steel mesh, so you can see through it. The car itself is a little bit smaller and it's much more accurate to the size of the real car. You can see, especially, it really shows on the Back to the Future 1 DeLorean how empty the back is when you see that against when you see that. You can tell that next to that thing over there, this doesn't look very good. But this, that's the DeLorean Time Machine. By far. And then we go on to the interior details. So in this case, this texture is not animated at all, so these are all still on the back wall. And they're overlapping a little bit. But on this one, see there's wires going to them. The flux capacitor is actually fluxing, and the light board at the back is going up and down like the light board does. As you can tell, there's a lot of wires going around in the interior, and I've changed the time switch, the inside time switch, to gold instead of grey, because it was never grey in the movie. So now let's have a look at the dashboard. See, everything's like really small and not into proportion with the rest of the car on this one. On the new one, I've actually got an accurate plutonium readout. I've got accurate time circuits. They both blink. And I've got an accurate sized input channel to put them in with. And also the speedometer is a bit bigger as well, which is a bonus. And finally, if you haven't noticed already, there is no jagged edges whatsoever on any of the bodywork. And you have look at it, comparing it with this. When you look at the bodywork on this, especially around the doors, you've got to see it's just a mess. It really ruins the model. I don't want to be saying this, but it really does ruin the model quite a lot. And also, these have accurate tyres on. These are nowhere near what the DeLorean tyres actually are. These are a lot more accurate. And I've got the back bulging out a bit more, like the real car. See, there's some extra details on the back as well. And I much prefer the vents being a slightly charred like this. Back to headlights again. A lot more accurate, as you can tell. This is the old lightning rod. It has the bounding box of a full block, and it's just silver most of the way through. Now here is the new one. The box actually goes down to what the lightning rod is, so you can walk around it, and it's a lot more accurate. The lightning rod has a copper end to it, it's not all steel. On this Back to Future Time Machine, as I've showed before, and it disappears. This one, click for now. And what's it do when the doors are closed? Pops a lightning rod over the passenger side of the car, which is what they actually do in the movie. This time, my opening, it's got the same animation as this one has, except it stays. It's there. You can't really get rid of it. You really can't get rid of it until you close the doors again. And I love how it just flops over like that. To get it off, all you have to do, click to open the doors. And it will pop the lightning rod right into your inventory. This is something that I've got with all of them. So let's pop them away. And let's grab the plutonium canisters. Here's the new one. Here's the old one. So the old one is just looks like this. It's a full-on item. You cannot place it down. The new one looks like this in your hand, and you can actually place it down, and it lights up the area a little bit. Look at that. It's much more accurate. On the old one, there we go. Now it's working. And on the new one, you don't use a plutonium canister for it. You use a block of redstone. So if you injure this one, it heals with just using a block of redstone on it. So, you're probably wondering, what is the new plutonium canister used for? When I click it on the DeLorean Time Machine, this was on all of them, turns on the flux fans. They glow. And it looks really nice. Look at all these features going around. You can really see how it's glowing when it's at midnight. In order to remove the effect, all you have to do is close the door and open it again, which you have to do whilst crouching. By the way, if this has the lightning rod, in order to keep the lightning rod, to open the door, you have to crouch. If you open the door without crouching, it will remove the lightning rod. So, now, it's time to have a look at Back to the Future 2. Here is the old Back to the Future 2 DeLorean. And if I use the Back to the Future 2 DeLorean Time Machine conversion kit on this, it'll turn into the Back to the Future 2 DeLorean. Now, here is the real difference. Now you can tell, I'm sorry, but that Mr. Fusion, it's way too big. It's absolutely humongous on this car. But on this one, that looks more like it. You're probably wondering. If you've seen my video, you'll know that the Back to the Future DeLorean does indeed fly. But then if we hold space and then leave the DeLorean, it will just go up into the sky unless it's killed or ridden on. That's all the differences. It's the same differences as Back to the Future 1 DeLorean. And this one has more details underneath. So let's have a look. So the reason why, just a disclaimer, when you have the old DeLoreans on, this DeLorean will make sounds as well when you're moving through the air. But when you don't, it will not. It will only make sounds when it lands and takes off. That's how this one's designed. Nothing I can do about it. Let's see how this DeLorean takes off, shall we? If you noticed, it has accurate mounts, and finally we have a particle effect on the wheels, and some more light effects and stuff. Look at that. We'll set the time to midnight. They glow. And I really like how they glow. Look at that. And of course, this time when you press and hold space, when you press and hold jump button and get out the car, this one actually comes down. So this has the fixed issue, but I'm not going to fix it on the other one. So, of course, this one also does that. Oh, by the way, every single time you use the plutonium rod, it gives you a glass bottle, because it's crafted. You get it by combining a piece of redstone with a glass bottle to get this bottle of redstone, and you smelt this bottle of redstone into the plutonium canister. So I thought I might as well give you the bottle back after you use it. So same way, it will just turn everything off when the doors close. So if you notice, everything is much more accurate. God, now you realise the silver parts on them old tyres, they're just too big. This looks a whole lot better. It looks a million times better. Plus, I've raised up the suspension mounts so you don't have this ugly gap in the middle. If you have noticed, I have completely reused the hood box. I've just changed the texture of the box itself and introduced some more lights on it. So now, when I open it, you can tell it's actually animated. It shows how it lights up. This will, because it's an animated texture, it will just go on whatever you do. So this is what it looks like like at night when you jump in the DeLorean Time Machine. As the doors themselves, just look at the inside of them doors. Much better than this monstrosity here. And I've already said I have changed the model. The windscreen on the old one goes over the bodywork. This one's been fixed and it's been bent into the correct way. If you lot noticed, on all of my DeLoreans, I'm missing the lights that go on the top right here. I couldn't find a way to make them work, so I just decided not to include them because they'd get in the way of the play ahead. In this case, now we have some railway tyres. There's the old tyre. There's the new one. As you can see, it's an ever so slight change, but the new one's a bit more brown than the old one. And they use a stack of railway tyres to give it them rail wheels. As you can tell, those wheels are 100% aligned. And if I want to show you, almost on the edge of an anvil, as you can tell, with this track design. That was not the case with the other one, the old one, because they went right in the middle of the anvil. And it looks much better on a rail. This works in the exact same way as the DeLorean Time Machine with the lightning rod. So I close the DeLorean and just open it without thinking, without shifting. I will literally just get rid of the tyres. The Back to the Future 3 DeLoreans, you can leash with a lead. And you can even close the door with the lead on it. It goes to the same place as it does with this one. And it will follow you on a lead. And it will just bounce on a lead. And the new one will take damage when it's on a lead. So that's something I need to fix. So that is all the features that is on both. But there's one more that's on the new DeLoreans. If you go in the inventory, you will find the DeLorean remote control. Start Back to Future 1 in this time travel scene. Doc Brown uses a remote control like this to control the DeLorean in order to time travel. When the doors are open, right, I have fixed the problem now. So this is how it's supposed to look. So if we have the DeLorean remote control, then we use it on the DeLorean. It will turn all the lights on, and the DeLorean will just follow me around. But the DeLorean 2 will even follow me around by trying to jump. If you get too far away, it will just teleport to you, like an animal which is tame. There's the view of it. And then to take it off, what you have to do is close them again. The DeLorean 1 is the only one that does do this. But again, this one is limited to going on the ground. So, I can go up there, follow me around here. Just like controlling a remote control car. It's supposed to follow you right on your tail like this, kind of like you're moving it around whilst you're walking. And of course you can't have players inside of it while you're doing this. Or anything inside of it really. Get to go through this. Come on. There you go. Perfectly controlled DeLorean Time Machine. That's all the features. Except from you can strike them with lightning and they will turn on the flux buttons. And now to activate the inventory, I would recommend, if you're going to use the inventory, do not close the door, otherwise it will lock. It will just drop its inventory. And that's all for this one, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye.